Hello, and welcome back to an audiobook. Sorry. It's once again Survivors, the Empty City, and we are reading half of Chapter 1, which is 8 pages. So let's waste no time and start. Lucky, startled awake, fear prickling in his bones and fur. He leaped to his feet, growling. For an instant he thought he was tiny once more, safe in his pup pack and protected, but the comforting dream had already vanished. The air shivered with menace, tingling Lucky's skin. If he could only see what was coming, he could face it down, but the monster was invisible, scentless. He whined in terror. There was no sleep time story. This fear was real. The urge to run was almost unbearable, but he could only scrabble, snarl, and scratch in panic. There was nowhere to go. Wire up his cage hemmed him in on every side. His muzzle hurt when he tried to shove it through the gaps. When he backed away, snarling, the same wire bit into his haunches. Others were close, familiar bodies, familiar scents. Those dogs were enclosed in this terrible place just as he was. Lucky raised his head and barked, over and over, high and desperate. But it was clear no dog could help him. His voice was drowned out by a chorus of frantic calls. They were all trapped. Dark panic overwhelmed him. His claws scrabbled at the earth floor, even though he knew it was hopeless. He could smell the female swift dog in the next cage. Friendly, comforting scent, overlaid now with the bitter tang of danger and fear. Yipping, he pressed close to her, feeling the shivers in her muscles, but the wire still separated them. Sweet, there's something's on the way, something bad. Yes, I feel it. What's happening? The long pause. Where were they? The long pause held him captive in this trap house, but they always seemed to care about dogs. They brought food and water, and they laid their bedding, cleared the mess. Surely the long pause would come for them now. The others barked and howled as one, and Lucky raised his voice with there. Long pause, it's coming! Something shifted beneath him, making his cage tremble. In sudden, terrible silence, Lucky crouched, frozen with horror. Then, around and above him, chaos erupted. The unseen monster was here, and its paws were right on the trap house. Lucky was flung back against the wire as the world heaved and tilted. For agonizing moments, he didn't know which way was up and down. The monster tumbled around him, deafening him with the racket of falling rock and shattered clear stone. His vision went dark as clouds and filth blinded him. The screaming, yelping yowls of terrified dogs seemed to fill his skull. A great chunk of wall crashed off the wire in front of his nose, and Lucky leaped back. Was this the earth dog trying to take him? Then, just as suddenly as the monster had come, it disappeared. One more wall crashed down in a cloud of choking dust. Torn wires screeched as a high cage toppled and plummeted to the earth. There was only silence and a dank metal scent. Blood! Thought Lucky. Death. Picks stirred inside his belly again. He was lying on his side. The wire cage crumpled against him, and he thrashed his strong legs, trying to right himself. The cage rattled and rocked, but he couldn't get up. No! He thought. I'm trapped! Lucky, are you all right? Sweet, where are you? Her long face pushed through the mangled wire. My cage door. It broke when it fell. I thought I was dead. Lucky, I'm free, but you... Help me, Sweet! The other faint whimpers had stopped. Did that mean the other dogs were... No, Lucky couldn't let himself think about that. He howled just to break the silence. I think I can pull the cage out a bit, said Sweet. Your door's loose too. We might be able to get it open. Seizing the wire with her teeth, she tugged. Lucky fought to keep himself calm. All he wanted to do was fling himself against the cage until it broke. His hind legs kicked out wildly, and he craned his neck around, snapping at the wire. Sweet was gradually pulling the cage forward, stopping occasionally to scrabble at the fallen stones with her paws. There, it's looser now. Wait while I... But Lucky couldn't wait no longer. The cage door was torn at the upper corner, and he twisted until he could bite and claw at it. He worked his paw to the gap and pulled hard. The wire gave a screech, just as Lucky felt a piercing stab in his paw pad, but the door now hung in an awkward angle. Wriggling and squirming, he pulled himself free and stood upright at last. His tail was tight between his legs as tremors bolted through his skin and muscles. He and Sweet stared at the carnage and chaos around them. There were broken cages and broken bodies. A small, smooth-coated dog lay on the ground nearby, lifeless, eyes dull. Beneath the last wall that had fallen, nothing stirred, but a limp paw poked out from between the stones. The scent of death was already spraying through the trap house air. Sweet began to whimper with grief. What was that? What happened? I think... Lucky's voice shook, and he tried again. It was a growl. My mother dog used to tell me stories about the earth dog and the growl she sent. I think the monster was a big growl. We have to get away from here! There was terror in Sweet's whine. Yes. Lucky backed slowly away, shaking his head to dispel the death smell. But it followed him, clinging to his nostrils. He glanced around, desperate. Where the wall had tumbled onto the other dog cages, the broken blocks had collapsed into a pile, and light shone bright through the haze of dust and smoke. There, Sweet, where the stones have crumbled in. Come on. She needed no more urging. Leaping up over the rubble, wherever it was paw, Lucky picked his way more carefully, nervously glancing around for Longpaws. Surely they'd come when they saw the destruction. He shuddered and quickened his pace. But even when he had sprang down onto the street outside, following Sweet's lead, there was no sign of any Longpaws. Bewildered, he paused and sniffed the air. It smelled so strange. Let's get away from the trap house, he told Sweet in a low voice. I don't know what's happened, but we should go far away in case the Longpaws come back. Sweet gave a sharp line as her head drooped. Lucky, I don't think there are any Longpaws left. The journey was slow and silent except the distant wail of broken, loud cages. A sense of threat grew in Lucky's belly. So many roads and alleys he knew were blocked. Still he preserved, nosing his way around the broken buildings through tangled, snaking coils torn from the ground. Despite what Sweet thought, Lucky was sure that the Longpaws would return soon. He wanted to be far away from the destroyed trap house when they did. The sky was darkening by the time he felt it was safe to rest. Lucky sensed anyway that Sweet couldn't go much farther. Maybe the swift dogs weren't as good at long journeys as they were quick dashes. He gazed back the way they come, shadows lengthening across the ground, hiding spaces, emerging in dark corners. Lucky shivered. Which other animals might be out there, scared and hungry? But both were exhausted from escaping the big growl. Sweet barely managed to tried her ritual of sleep circle before she slumped to the ground, laid her head on her forepaws, and closed her troubled eyes. Lucky pressed himself close against her flank for warmth and comfort. "I'll stay awake for a while," he thought. "Keep watch." Yes. He woke up with a start, shivering, his heart racing. He'd slept no son away. His dreams were full of distant rumbling of the bird growl and an endless line of long paws running away from him, and loud cages of whining and beeping. There was no sign of others here now. The sea seemed abandoned. Beneath the thorny scrub, Sweet slept on, the flanks of her sleek body gently rising and falling with each breath. Something about Sweet's deep sleep was comforting, but suddenly he needed more than the scented warmth of her sleeping body. He needed her awake and alert. He nuzzled Sweet's long face, licking her ears until she responded with a happy murmuring growl. She got up to her feet, sniffing and licking him in return. "How's that paw, Lucky?" Her words instantly brought the sting back. Remembering the wound, he sniffed his paw pad. An angry red mark scored the flesh, pulsing with pain. He licked it gently. It was closed, but only just, and he did not want to make it bleed again. "It's better, I think," he said, more hopeful than he felt. Then, as they both slunk out from beneath the dense branches, his spirits slumped. The road before them was broken, wildly tilted and cracked. Water sprayed into the sky from a long tube exposed by crumbling earth, making rainbows in the air. It wasn't just here in the sloping city streets. As far as Lucky could see, the light the light of the rising sundial glinted on a tangled metal. A slick of water lay where he remembered that there had once been gardens, and the long-paw homes that used to seem tall and indestructible were now crumpled as if pummeled, I can't pronounce the things, by a giant long-paw fist. The big growl, murmured Sweet. He is struck and afraid. Look what's done. Okay, so that will be the end of today's reading. Next one, you'll finish the first chapter. And after I'm done with the empty city, next will come up Brave Lands, Broken Pride. Enjoy? Hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.